Hello Year 8 and welcome to this science lesson about the big topic, where do we come from? Today is a lesson 3. So let's start the lesson copying the driving question. Remember to copy the driving question and underline the driving question in your exercise book so we can start the lesson together. Underneath the driving question for today is what is DNA and what does it do? And underneath the driving question you can see the keywords that we are going to use during the lesson today. And by the end of this lesson, you will be more familiar with all of them. So as you can see from the driving question is what is DNA and what does it do? So let's start with the DNA and where the DNA is stored in our cell, okay? And because the last lesson we said that the DNA is the chemical that contains all the genetic information and it is in every single cell of your body. So let's start this lesson to understand where this DNA, where this chemical is in your cell. So the nucleus of a human body cell. So this is a human body cell and this one in the middle is the nucleus. Contain 46 chromosomes, so it means that will contain 23 pairs, okay? And each chromosome is made of a very long coil of a molecule called DNA. So here is telling you that the DNA is stored in the nucleus of your cell, okay? And this molecule is a double helix shape. DNA encodes all the inherited characteristics of each person. Okay? So, this is the first step of what we said so far. We said that the DNA is inside the nucleus of your cells and it has a structure of a double helix and you can find it arranged in the nucleus as a chromosome. So this now is the first task for you guys. So you have 4 options. You need to stop and pause the video, go through the option and pick one. And you need to tell me which statement is true. Okay, great. Let's have a look to the answer. So which statement is true? And the answer is B. The entire genetic information is in the nucleus. Okay, so let's move on and let's try to understand what DNA stands for. Okay, so DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. And each chromosomes, the chromosomes is this structure here, and it is the way the DNA is arranged inside the nucleus of your cells. And each chromosome is a very long molecule of tightly called DNA. Okay, DNA molecules carry, as we said in the last lesson, carry the code that control what your cells are made of and what they do. So it contains all the information that the cell will need to do all its jobs. Okay. And with this slide, we can go through each one of the structure that we can observe in a DNA molecule and we better understand what's the function of its structure. Okay, so let's start with the chromosomes. So each chromosome is made of a single molecule of tightly called DNA and is the way the DNA is arranged and organized in the nucleus of the cells. And we said that every cells contain in your body contain 46 chromosomes. Okay, then the gene is a section of the chromosomes. If a gene is a part of a chromosome, this means that each gene is a section of a DNA molecule, okay? And we saw this last lesson as well. So we said that the gene is a little section of the DNA molecule. Then you have DNA helix. A DNA molecule looks like a twist ladder. This spiral shape is called a double helix, okay? When you are talking about DNA structure, you are talking about the structure make like a double helix. Then you have the backbone. 2 strands form the uprights of the DNA ladder. These strands support the base pair but do not carry genetic information. So the backbone that supports the structure is important to remember that this structure is not carrying any genetic information. Then we have the base pairs. Each ranks of the DNA ladder is made up of 2 connected bases. These base pairs keep the 2 strands of a DNA molecule together. And bases, the ranks of the DNA letter are chemical units called bases. Bases are the DNA, the part of the DNA that carry genetic information. Okay, we said that the backbone keeps the structure but does not carry any genetic information. Instead, bases are carrying the genetic information. Okay, so as I said at the beginning of this lesson, I said that each cells of your body contain 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs, but actually we need to make a little, we need to clarify little things. So we need to say that in our body we have two kinds of cells. We have somatic cells and sex cells. So all the somatic cells are all cells other than sperm and eggs, so are the cells of your body. The somatic cells, they will contain 46 chromosomes, so I mean 23 pairs. Instead, the sex cells, that in human, for example, are sperm cell for male and egg cells for female, they will contain just 23 chromosomes, okay? They have 23 chromosomes unpaired. This is half the number of somatic cells. So in your body, you have two different kinds of cells, the somatic cells and the sex cells. All the somatic cells will contain 46 chromosomes. Instead, sex cells that for male are sperm cell, for female are egg cells, they will contain half the number of chromosomes, so it means that they will contain 23 chromosomes. Why they will contain 23 chromosomes? This because these cells are involved in the sexual reproduction and fertilization. And we said that last lesson that fertilization is the process where the two sex cells will fuse together. So it means that they will join together. So it means that you will have 23 chromosomes from the sperm cell, 23 chromosomes from the egg cell. So at the end, they will make a cell that will be a somatic cell because it will have 46 chromosomes. Okay, so this is the reason why sex cells need to contain half the number of chromosomes, because they will fuse together during fertilization, the male one and the female one, they will fuse together during fertilization, and fusing together you will have 23 chromosomes from the egg cell that will be added to the 23 chromosomes of the male sex cell to have a somatic cell with 46 chromosomes. Okay, so this is the next task for you today. So the DNA function. What's the DNA function? So please pause the video, go through the 4 options, and please pick one that is the right one. Okay, let's have a look to the answer. The DNA function is, and the answer is C. DNA molecules carry the code that control what your cells are made of and what they do, because the DNA will carry all genetic information that every cell of your body will need to do all their job. Okay? Their jobs. Okay, now as a normal science lesson, we have the writing phase. I prepared for you 4 different questions, 4 different levels, and actually for the first, I put some starter sentences in the next slides that will help you to complete the task. And you need to describe that inside the nucleus of a cell there are what we said is in the nucleus of the cell. Then genes are, you need to define a gene, and the role of gene in our cell is 2. And the link between DNA, genes, and chromosomes is that. So how can we relate these 3 keywords? And then sex cells contain half the number of chromosomes. Why they present half number of the chromosomes? So please pause the video, take your time to do the task, and we will check your work later. Brilliant, it's time to mark now, so get ready with a green pen, or if you don't have a green pen, a different color pen. And remember, marking is also an extra detail if you miss something during the task. So for the first one, describe what is inside the nucleus. Inside the nucleus of a cell, there are 23 pairs of chromosomes. If you put 46 chromosomes, it's absolutely right. Okay, 23 pairs or 46 chromosomes, which are made of DNA. Explain the role of genes. Genes are a section of DNA The role of gene in our cells is that each gene controls a particular feature like eye color or hair color. Okay, this is what we said also last lesson. So a gene will control a particular feature. And explain the link between DNA, genes, and chromosomes. So DNA is a long double helix-shaped molecule. It contains the entire genomic information to control the cell. The 23 pairs of chromosomes in the nucleus are all made of DNA. Again, 23 pairs of 46. Each chromosome is split into sections called genes. They are a section of DNA molecule that form the code for a particular feature. Okay, so you can say that the DNA is a long double helix, and it is arranged as chromosomes inside the nucleus of the cells. You can say 23 pairs or 46 chromosomes in the nucleus, and then each chromosome is present different little sections that are called genes. Okay, so in this way we linked DNA, chromosomes, and genes. And last one, explain why sex cells contain half the number of chromosomes. So sex cells are the only kind of cell in our body to contain half the number of chromosomes. This is because they are involved in sexual reproduction and fertilization, during which a female and a male sex cell will join together. Each sex cell contains 23 chromosomes. After fertilization, a new zygote. So zygote is the new somatic cell. So if you've written down just the new cell or the new somatic cell, is absolutely fine. It's formed with 46 chromosomes. Okay. So please pause the video if you need time to add extra detail, if you haven't complete some part of the answer. And the last bit is the plenary. So today I've achieved. Please write down for the first scout what you have achieved. Remember what you have achieved on your own and not what you have had in green pen or different colored pen. So describe, explain, use, and combine. And because I could, you can help yourself with these 4 statements to explain why did you achieve, describe or explain or use or combine. Please pause the video if you need time to copy them. And the very last thing that I want to remind you guys is please don't forget to do the 10 question quiz on Show My Own Work linked with this lesson. So thanks for the lesson, thank you for today, and well done, and see you next one.